Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of On the Glass. And tonight, or today, we are here on Friday to talk about the debacle that was last night at the bank against the Miami Dolphins on Thursday night football. I posted it in a couple Jaguar groups last night. After the game, I was considering going live, but I was way too upset and way too aggravated to get on a YouTube live and to do that. I would have been irrational, and I needed a minute to stop and think about what happened last night. But before we get started, if you would do me a favor, like this video, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, and we will keep doing these things twice a week for the Jaguars, previewing and recapping. And I have started a podcast as well. Should be available on all podcast platforms, so be sure to check out Spotify and Apple and all that kind of thing to check out the podcast as well. They will be slightly different. So, where to begin? I guess we should start on the defensive side of the football. And at this point, I'm not even really sure you can call us an NFL caliber defense. We're generating no pass rush. This soft ass zone is getting exposed week after week after week. And last night, Miami, who for the first two games of the season was a predominantly passing football team, decided to come out rushing the football, and they ran it down our throats. And then Fitzpatrick is standing back there and picking us apart because we play 8 to 10 yards off receivers. It don't seem like anybody knows what their responsibilities are in the zone, because when we go to hand off a player running out of their territory, there's nobody there to pick them up. And instead of following them, they just let them run wide open, and it's an easy completion, an easy pass and catch and run from there. And then you have the super mobile and super fast Ryan Fitzpatrick that is scrambling for 12 to 15 yards, gaining first downs with nobody around him for at least 9 of those yards. And it just makes you all stop and think, if Ryan Fitzpatrick can run and scramble against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, then coming up in about, 5 weeks or so, when we travel to Baltimore to play Lamar Jackson, what's going to happen then? Or what's going to happen next week when a capable runner in Joe Burrow is going against this Jags defense? What's going to happen then? And I know for a fact Giovanni Bernard is a better running back than Miami had last night. So what's going to happen then? What are we going to try to stop? Are we going to try to stop Joe Burrow from picking apart that weak-ass zone? Or are we going to try to stop Giovanni Bernard? Because obviously we cannot do both, and that was evident against the Titans when they stopped Henry, but they couldn't stop Tannehill from dinking and dunking his way down the field. Todd Wash is probably the worst defensive coordinator in the National Football League. And for whatever reason, The Jacksonville Jaguars are maintaining him on this staff. I don't understand it. And last night, after the game, I got to thinking, in 2017, what was so different? Because the scheme was the same. Has Todd Wash gotten worse as a defensive coordinator? Or was the talent just so good in 2017, from the defensive line to the safeties and corners to the linebackers? Was they so good in 2017 that it made up for and hid a lot of the terrible play calling and terrible scheme that is a Todd Wash defense? And I think the answer is clear. I think in 2017, the pass rush was so good. I think the pass rush was astounding in 2017 that quarterbacks didn't have enough time to sit down in the pocket and to see the holes open up in this zone defense. It is easy to see now why Jalen Ramsey was so upset. Ramsey is a man corner, and he wants to go against the number one wideout from the opposing team, but that is often not the case in this defense. And I can understand why Jalen Ramsey was getting upset. He's still a prima donna crybaby, but that's neither here nor there. Todd Wash has got to go, or Todd Wash has got to quit being so damn stubborn and change his scheme a little bit, because it's obvious to everybody watching. I don't pretend to know everything that there is to know about schemes and why football teams do what they do. I've just been a fan of football. I've never played a down of football in my life. But it's easy to see that what they currently do does not work. You're giving up 31 points to the Miami Dolphins. And don't get me wrong, I love him. He played for the University of Louisville. I absolutely love the kid. He was phenomenal here with Teddy Bridgewater. But Devontae Parker is not a high caliber NFL receiver. And last night, the Jaguars made him out to be DeAndre Hopkins. That's what they made him out to be. Something's got to change on the defensive side of the football. If it don't, it's going to be a long season. And last night, it became obvious that there's going to be games where we're not going to be able to win a shootout. In some games, I think, as a whole, that the Jaguars have the capability to score points in bunches. But that was not the case last night, and the defense couldn't get off the frickin' field. 31 points to the Dolphins. Probably anywhere in between 20 to 30 rushing yards for Ryan Fitzpatrick. These things are unexcusable, folks. They just are. And you're not going to win very many football games if you cannot get off the field. And Miami, I think it was 60% of the time, was converting on third down. And when they went for it on fourth down, I believe they got it both times. So when you're running third down efficiency of right at 60% and then 100% fourth down efficiency, you're going to beat a lot of teams in the National Football League. And if you're giving up those kind of numbers, you're going to lose a lot of games in the league. You cannot do that. You cannot let teams keep drives alive, especially when they're behind the chains like Miami was in a few situations last night. And you can't let them keep on the field. And then on the flip side of the coin, the Jaguars were 30% on third down last night and 0 for 2 on fourth down. Do you see the big discrepancy there? 30% on third down, 0% on fourth down. That is not a winning recipe in the National Football League. You're not going to win games with those kinds of numbers. You've got to be up at least around 45% on third down. You have to be. It was frustrating. It was frustrating. But let's go over to the offensive side of the ball. I seen a guy in one of the Jaguar Facebook pages post a video. Minshew mania is not real. Get out of here with that, bro. And I watched your video, and whatever it is you think you're watching, or whatever it is you think you know about football, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. You don't. Minshew last night had a man in his face damn near every time he dropped back to throw a football last night. Linder was out. That was a big blow. Brandon Linder is one of the best offensive linemen that we've had in a very long time. Linder is good. Linder is good when he gets up to the line, recognizing what the defense is doing, and audibling the line into different blocking packages and stuff. Linder is phenomenal at that. So with him being out, there was already a gaping hole in the offensive line. And then Cam Robinson gets ejected. So we got a backup player playing at the two most important positions of the offensive line, at left tackle and center. And you want to try to put this on Minshew. No, man. No. You have no idea what you're talking about. Minshew last night did what he could given the circumstances. When there is free rushers, let's take the Conley play where he overthrew him when Conley was wide open on the sideline. When that ball was snapped, there was a free rusher right in the face of Gardner Minshew. Conley made the double move. I believe he went up the sideline, broke like he was going to come back inside, and instead went outside, leaving his defender basically standing in mud. The defender was frozen. And Conley was running wide open down the sideline. But the pass rush comes straight downhill right in the face of Gardner Minshew, so he could not step up into the throw, thus overthrowing Conley. And you want to try to put that on Minshew? No. No, 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 no. That was squarely on the offensive line that for some reason completely forgot how to block the man in front of them last night. And look, it's been a trend these 3 games, in my opinion, where there has been numerous downs where there has been a free runner at the quarterback. And again, like I said, with the third down and fourth down efficiency numbers, you're not going to win very many games in the NFL if you can't even chip block a guy to slow him down a little bit. You cannot have free runners to the quarterback in the National Football League, especially off his blind side and down the middle. You can't do that. You're not going to, you're setting your quarterback up for failure, which is what that was last night, was a failure on the offensive line, thus making Gardner Minshew look awful. And